Greetings. Today I would like to introduce you to the Min Max Safety Workbench. This is a handy tool to easily review how your Min Max safety settings are aligning with demand and usage. To begin this process, you need to set up the system to track parameters, and this can be done for an entire part class as well as overridden on a part/site basis. Once this is set up, Epicor will begin tracking that inventory usage and doing some calculations that will really save you a lot of time. So for my example, I'm looking at the 1032K nut, and in here I can see that at the details level, I can see that my part class is hardware, and then I'm going to go ahead and look at my planning parameters and look to see if I have anything overridden for this particular part. So in here, my calculated planning values, I do not have anything set at the actual part level because I am driving that for the part class default. So if I look at my part class for hardware, I can see that I am including all parts in the hardware class in the calculations for Min Max Safety. I'm including sales history. So these are direct line sales on a sales order and shipments to a customer that are included. And I'm also including job materials. So these are components that have been issued to jobs. For my example, I'm using a 90-day history window. You can go up to 365 days. And this is really driven based on your business cycles and how cyclical your business is. So you might want to pick 90 or 180 or 365. For my example, I'm going to leave 10% of my minimum on hand as a safety factor. So if I have a minimum on hand of 100, 10 are going to be shown or proposed as my safety stock minimum on hand. The max factor is actually kind of handy when you're looking at bin sizing. So if you have larger parts, you might not want to have a max factor of 3. You might want to have one of 2, because what this will do is it's going to take my minimum on hand and then multiply it, in this case, by 3. So in my example, it would say 100 times 3 equals 300 as my max factor. And then this default part lead time, if you do not have a lead time identified on your site record, it's going to assume 10 days for your lead time to get new product in. And that will factor into the calculations and how they build everything out. So this is the Min Max Safety Workbench. And even though I'm in Kinetic, this has been available, I believe, since Epicor 10 dot something, and you can use it in the classic screens as well. So I'm going to go into the hardware. These are all of my parts that are in the hardware class. So I can opt to go ahead and click this button, and I'm going to calculate selected. It's going to give me a warning that I might update existing values. In this case, the first time, I'm just doing the calculations to see what it would propose. So I'm going to click yes to continue. And in the background, it's going to do a lot of heavy lifting for you that many people are already doing in Excel. We can let Epicor do the work for us. So in the part transaction history tracker for this 1032K nut, because my window is 90 days, it's going to go through the transactions just within the 90 days. So it'll go from, in this case, 9/27 to 2024 is actually in my 90-day window. So it's going to take all of these usage quantities that are either for job materials issued or for products shipped direct on a sales order line and add all of that up for me. So when I come back here, I'm going to actually look at just my K nut, And if I look at it currently, my minimum on hand, if I look at the part here and at my site detail, my minimum in hand is 60,000 parts, max is 100,000, and I don't have any safety stock. And I'm always going to reorder to max. So if I get below, if I get 55 down to 55,000, I'm going to reorder to make sure that I have 100,000 on hand. So now as I look at this Min Max Safety, I can see that it's going through and it's giving me a whole different proposed minimum value. Right now I have 60,000. It's saying, well, you really only need 70 and you don't have any safety, but you want to put, according to my parameters, I want to have some safety stock on this. And then my maximum is at 100,000 and it's saying really you only need 217 on hand for your maximum. And then the lead time on here, it's actually taking the lead time from the part because I have that in that part site record. My lead time is only 3 days. So this is why it's going through all of these calculations behind the scenes. And it's actually taking a daily usage. So if I look over here, here's how it did its calculations to find all the numbers. Through the last 90 days, I've sold or shipped 500 on sales orders. I've issued 1,000 to jobs. So my total issue for the last 90 days is 1,500. And then it comes up with this daily usage of 23.44. So what it'll do is it'll take that 23.44 times, it only takes me 3 days to get this product in according to what I have at the site level. It's multiplying that all out to give me a better minimum on hand quantity. This also pulls in your part cost. So if I look at my part cost and what the proposed changes are going to be, these actually will show me what your maximum cost. So right now, if I would go ahead and take these proposed values, I would have saved $997,000 of inventory. And then my safety, I didn't have any safety stock before. Now I'm going to propose 7. So I'm increasing my safety on hand by 7 cents, but then decreasing my minimum by $599. So this is information that many times people are trying to pull together from different queries, different Excel formulas. All this is all being done behind the scenes, all by Epicor. Now, in this case, maybe I don't want to go ahead and go down to 6 to 70. Let's say I know that I'm going to have some pretty big business coming up shortly. So, but maybe what I'm going to do is let me say I'm going to put 2,000 and my safety stack. I'm good with leaving it at 7, but my maximum on hand, let's take this down to 5,000. So I can go right in this screen without having to go through the part master, and I can save this because I had that box checked here. And then if I go to the part and I refresh this, you can see that I've already updated my minimums. Oh, I did forget to change my safety stock on that one. So I'll leave my safety stock. Let me just put this at 7. So because I didn't copy the proposed, it's taking what I physically typed into this screen, and that's how it's doing the update. So I'm going to go ahead and save this and then refresh this screen. And now I have my safety stock at 7. Another good thing about this dashboard is if you're looking at thousands of parts, I calculated everything when I first came in, and I can go ahead and maybe I'm going to look at maybe my maximums are too high based on my usage that I've had. So what I could do is I could sort this column and then I could start reviewing some of these other ones where it's saying, hey, we can reduce costs here by dropping our maximum down. And you can actually go ahead and do several of these. and you can copy all of the proposed one. In this case, I'm not going to do it because it's a test database and somebody else might be using this information. But in your environment, if you wanted to go ahead and start doing these in bulk, you could actually take your proposed minimums, copy all proposed and save it, and be able to manipulate multiple records at one time. So I hope you find the Min Max Safety Mass Update another shiny tool for your toolbox. Happy planning.